Greetings, everyone. This is Terry Naturally with another edition of Terry Talks Nutrition. We're here every Saturday and Sunday morning from 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. And you can listen to us locally, as many of you are. And also you can go to our website, terrytalksnutrition.com, and you can listen to the show anywhere around the world, live if you choose. You just have to change your times wherever you are around the world to be on the same time we are here in the Central Standard Time in the USA. You can also go into the archive section of the radio shows and bring up a radio show at your convenience and listen whenever you would like. Also, you can subscribe to our newsletter. We send out a weekly newsletter on Friday to your email address. You can subscribe or go into the archive section of the e-newsletter and read all the newsletters at your convenience as well. And we're here to kind of nudge you or persuade you to think about your health. I think many of you are already listening to have ideas on how to improve your health. But if you just joined us because maybe you just ran across our radio show as you've been scanning the dials, because food is your best medicine. Many people are taking drugs, and maybe those drugs may be critical. I'm not completely against drugs. I think they have their place. There may be a reason why the doctor has prescribed a medication for you. But there's a lot of research that indicates that food is the only way to become healthy. Not drugs. Drugs may be necessary in a crisis or an emergency, but they don't provide health. You're not going to get healthier. You're going to be relieved of some of your symptoms with drugs. And they may keep you from more dire consequences, but they're not going to make you healthy. Food and all the nutrients that are found in the food that we eat today is the only thing that can make us healthy. The food you choose to eat and the food that you choose not to eat makes the difference in your health. You can eat a good, healthy diet and regain your health regardless of how much damage you already have done to your health or to your body. Unless you have gone through so much damage that it is impossible to reverse. That's why food should be included, good food should be included from day one. All the good, healthy food we can eat to make us healthy should be included on a daily basis. And if you want more information as how I think you should eat, as how I eat, and it may take some discipline. I have a lot of discipline. Maybe it came from my time in the Marine Corps. I have a lot of discipline. I can decide what I want to do, and I'll do it. Nothing stops me if I think whatever I'm going to be doing is in my best interest. So I can make changes easily. But I think everybody should change their diet because 99% of you listening, or I shouldn't say all of you, because I know many of you have made changes already from listening to this show and just wanting to get healthy. Maybe read a good book that has changed your life. Like Wheat Belly. There are some really good books to read. I would read Dr. Perlmutter's book, which is also a great book. So many of the things that we are doing can improve our health. And when we improve our health, many of the drugs that we had been taking, are no longer necessary. And food is the most powerful medicine for change. You could have 8, 9, maybe not that far off, but 6, 7, 8 decades of damage. And you can reverse that damage and change your life to include a better quality of life to do the things you never could have done before. Don't let anything stop you if you want to be healthier. But it takes discipline. You're going to give up some of the things that you really think you can't live without, like sugar, carbohydrates. But eating healthy, if you want to be healthy, you have to eat healthy. If you want your car to function, then you need gas. If you want your body to function at its peak optimal level, then you need food with all the necessary food factors that can make a difference in your health. That's why we're here. Only to share information that you can use this information to become healthier. And I suggest going to my website, terrytalksnutrition.com. There you can subscribe to my newsletter. You can listen to past radio shows. You can listen to a radio show live. You can ask me questions. And there's a lot of good information on my website. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter under Terry Talks Nutrition. You can follow me on my YouTube channel. My channel is youtube.com/Terry Talks Nutrition. And if you want to take me along with you, you can listen and watch Terry and Dr. Lynn show on podcast and on terrytalksnutrition.com website. Or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, including Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Listen Notes, Player FM, Audible, Deezer, and Podcast Addict. So we have given you a lot of platforms to listen and watch Terry Talks Nutrition. And we're here today with a variety of topics that may be of interest to you. So don't go away. We have a whole hour to share. And our first featured topic is how to relieve anxiety in dogs. And then we're going to talk about cold and flu. The season for cold and flu is around the corner, not far off. And it's never too early to start building up your health to prevent cold and flu in the winter months. Then we're going to talk about keto. I've talked about the ketogenic diet for a long time. And that's one of my diets that I suggest to a lot of people. Not my diet. It's a diet I follow. It's a little tougher diet to follow. But if you want to lose weight, weight will fall off you like crazy if you adopt the entire ketogenic diet. And if you want to know more about the ketogenic diet, go to ketogenicdietresource.com or dietdoctor.com. It's a tough diet to follow for most people. You have to have discipline, but you'll be highly rewarded if you do. For those of you who don't want to make such a severe change in carbohydrates, as the carbohydrate level in the ketogenic diet could be as low as 20 grams of carbohydrates per day, you may want to adopt the paleo diet. And all you have to do is Google paleodiet.com. That is a diet that still restricts carbohydrates, especially from grains, but includes more fruits and vegetables. So rather than 20 grams of carbohydrates like on the ketogenic diet, which you can also include more carbohydrates if you want to, but there's more of a balance to the paleo diet than the ketogenic diet. And it includes a lot more fruits and vegetables and maybe up to 150 grams of carbohydrates, but from better sources, not grains. Read the book Wheat Belly by Dr. William Davis. And then we'll be talking about constipation, which is caused by the ketogenic diet. And we'll talk about calcium lactate. It may be a calcium you've never heard about. Let's talk about that. And how to lose weight by eating nuts. And then saffron, the most expensive spice in the world. Now study shows that it improves sleep quality. And we have a lot more on the agenda, but we won't cover everything. So let's get on to our featured topic, relieving anxiety in dogs. Like people, dogs have anxiety. Some dogs have anxiety riding in the car. I have a little Australian Shepherd, Bella, little female. She loves to ride in the car. I think she would stay in the car 24 hours a day. She loves to ride. All I have to do is talk to her and say, you want to go for a ride? Or do you want to go to Starbucks? She knows exactly what I'm saying. And she runs over and sits by her harness, waiting for me to put it on her. She knows exactly. It's like I talk to her like a 7-year-old. She's never been trained, but I just talk to her like I would talk to a 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old child, and she follows what I say. She loves to ride. But some get very upset riding in the car because to them it means I'm going to the vet or I'm going to the groomer, and they don't like that either. So riding there is a starting of what they don't want to experience. And what about fireworks, thunderstorms, and being groomed? Go to the vet. Or just separation anxiety, staying alone in the house. Everybody goes off to school, goes off to work, and nobody pays attention to them, and they freak out. Staying at the kennel, boarding, another anxious moment. Or having guests over in the house. Some signs of how to determine the dog is anxious. Overly panting, yawning, pacing, hiding, excessive barking, destructive behavior, and urinating and pooping in the house. They want to get back at you for making them anxious. They may do it just because they are so anxious, because even people that get overly anxious, they have anxiety, panic attacks, they get diarrhea. and they vomit. They get so upset. And dogs are the same. So how can you reduce your dog's stress and anxiety? Well, first of all, exercise is excellent, just like humans. In dogs and humans, there is a stress hormone that is produced by the adrenal glands called cortisol. Cortisol, cortisol. Cortisol levels increase when a dog experiences stress or a human. Exercise helps reduce the cortisol levels. 30 to 60 minutes of exercise, like brisk walking, playing ball, letting them run at the dog park or in an empty field, just helping them work off their anxiety. This may be especially helpful for dogs with separation anxiety. Now, there's a very excellent herb, and I've talked about this herb in regards to humans and their stress level and anxiety. And the herb is called Echinacea angustifolia. It's an American herb. It's been used by American Indians hundreds of years ago. And typically it's used for cold and flu. And there are very good studies around the world showing that it is as effective as Tamiflu. But that's a form of echinacea that is standardized for the polysaccharides, where echinacea that works effectively on reducing anxiety, because in plants contain many different components. The polysaccharides reduce the severity and the duration of a cold. But there's also a group of compounds in Echinacea angustifolia called alkamides, alkamides, alkamides. These are plant compounds that trigger receptors in the brain associated with calmness, relaxing, less stress, less anxiety. In studies, animals that received this form of echinacea were calmer and more able to ignore events that would normally induce stressful behavior. And it works very quickly. Effects can be seen in dogs and felt in humans in about 30 minutes with no side effects, no adverse events. And it can be actually given to children over the age of 4. In about 20 to 40 milligrams, very, very small amount, before a stressful event, or when you're leaving home, or if there's fireworks, or a thunder shower. It helps immensely to increase the calmness of your dog. Now, cold and flu. Yes, let me say it's the return of cold and flu. And what do I mean by return? Well, influenza seems to be back. During COVID-19, they did not experience the common cold or influenza as everybody was going through COVID-19. So experts have a theory regarding respiratory infections, upper respiratory infections, like the common cold and influenza, or commonly just referred to as the flu. as these experts say, we could have a big year in 2021 after the regular cold and flu season took a back seat to COVID-19 in 2020. For the first time since April 2020, typical viruses are now being seen again. As much as 10 times as many of respiratory viruses were recently reported versus the same time period last year. In fact, schools in Hong Kong reported an explosion of respiratory infections when they reopened after a long period of at-home learning. Exposure to a small amount of virus, not enough to make you sick, helps the immune system learn to identify and destroy the virus again in the future. Many young kids have not yet been close to an encounter with a virus associated with cold and flu. So they are at a higher risk of getting sick. But also we have an immune system. And I look at my immune system as being a natural vaccine. There's a little bit different in the way they work. A vaccine is going to give you a little bit of a virus so your body can recognize it as being a foreign invasion or a foreign object and builds up resistance in the immune system to fight it. But if we keep our immune system healthy and ready and feed it the right nutrients, our innate, natural, built-in immune system will function and prevent and reverse viral infection. The immune system function requires certain nutrients in order to activate against pathogens. I always refer to it as the army of the body. What is an army for? What is the Navy for? What is the Marine Corps for? They're there to protect the country from invasion of a foreign country. If a foreign country wants to take over America, we have an army that would stop that. We have a defense mechanism that'll stop that. All these tools and defense mechanisms to prevent a foreign invasion by another country is what the Army and the military are designed to do. Our immune system prevents foreign invasion by bacteria, viruses, and fungal infection. But we have to have these nutrients every day. Because the immune system, and this is not something that is new, medical textbooks have all this information available for anyone who wants to explore the mechanism of action of the immune system. And 70 to 80% of the immune system is found in the gut. We can feed our immune system the right nutrients to maintain good health. There are very excellent herbs that can be used to prevent viral infection or to reverse it as well. And my two favorite choices are antigraphis and propolis. Both are very powerful as antifungal, bacterial, and viral infection. We would call them multi-antimicrobial. They prevent all these pathogens from attaching to receptor sites, causing infection. But we have to have these, I would say, certain nutrients in order to activate the immune system against pathogens. Now, we can get antigraphis, which comes from India or China. And it's very, very effective against cold and flu and all viral infections. A couple of months ago, I spent 2 weeks in the Maldives. And when we checked into our room, I found a flyer on the desk in the villa that we were living in. And it said, if you want to protect your health against COVID-19, come to the clinic in the resort area, and they would give you a bottle of antigraphis. They wanted their guests to stay healthy. In Thailand, the government of Thailand recommends, as well as China, recommends antigraphis to their citizens to protect against any kind of viral outbreak, including COVID-19. But there are other nutrients that we can't live without that are required for a healthy immune system. Antigraphis would never be available to us if we didn't have ways to ship across the world. And propolis, which the bees use to protect their colony, which is like their immune system. So, for example, we need vitamin C. There are 4 vitamins and 2 minerals. Because low intakes of vitamin C can increase the risk of severe respiratory infection, including pneumonia. A deficiency in vitamin D3 increases the risk of viral infections. And low zinc levels impairs natural killer cell function and more. Also, we want to include vitamin A. Vitamin A fights infection. And vitamin E. So vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin E, and vitamin D3. Those are the 4 vitamins that our immune system requires to be healthy. So I'm going to take a pause here and go back in a few seconds after we have gone through a few messages from the radio station. So don't go away. I'll be right back. This is Terry Talks Nutrition. I'm Terry Naturally. And welcome back, my friends. This is Terry Naturally with Terry Talks Nutrition. We're here every Saturday and Sunday morning, 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. And you can listen to us live, locally or around the world, by going to our website, terrytalksnutrition.com. Listen live, or you can bring up any radio show that you prefer in the archive section of the radio show, and you can listen at your convenience. We are here just to share how you may become healthier with a lot more vitality, a reduction of chronic fatigue, tiredness, exhaustion. You can be a lot more healthy than you ever thought possible, but you have to make some changes. You can't continue doing the same thing over and over again, and you're unhealthy, and expect results to get healthy. I think they say that is the first sign of insanity. Doing something over and over again, expecting results, doing the same thing and not getting the results, you have to change. Something's got to give. Change the diet, and you'll be rewarded with a new lease on life. A new, healthy, and high-quality body and vitality. Now, we talked about the 4 vitamins and 2 minerals that the immune system requires to be healthy. Vitamin C, vitamin D3, vitamin A, vitamin E, and zinc and selenium. They all are required. Any medical textbook will spell that out. The only problem is not many people read a textbook on the immune system. When you talk about vitamins, minerals, and food, no doctor has ever studied food and vitamins and minerals. A doctor prescribes drugs for disease, but does not help you become well. So we talked about vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin D, now zinc. If we have low levels of zinc, it impairs the natural killer cell formation and function. And selenium. So few people use selenium. But the FDA has agreed that taking 200 micrograms daily of selenium may prevent and lower the risk of certain forms of cancer, plus build up the immune system. Now, some people are going to say, can't I just eat healthy? Yes, please do. Diet is the bottom line of all health. Your food that you eat and the food that you don't eat and the food that you eat too much of that you should not eat. You need to get down to a good, healthy diet of good proteins and plenty of proteins. I think they have the daily requirement for proteins at a too low of a level. Our body is made out of protein. If you were able to squeeze the life out of our body and all the water was gone, what's left would be protein. So we need plenty of protein to replace all of our muscular structure, and everything our body has become is based on the amino acids that are extracted from protein. It's like having the 26 letters of the alphabet, but those 26 letters, you can make millions of words. And the same thing in the body. There's 20 amino acids, and 8 of them are essential. That means we have to eat protein in order to get them. And those amino acids make up all of our body chemistry, like the letters make up words. Now, eat plenty of fruits and vegetables, high quality fats, good proteins, no starch, no grains. But the problem is, too, that fruits and vegetables today are less nutritious than those grown a few decades ago. We have destroyed our healthy crops. The modern agricultural methods today have stripped nutrients from the soil. And soil, the minerals are not put back into the soil. We do not encourage a healthy soil environment. Everything is chemical. And each generation of fast-growing, pest-resistant plant today is less nutritious than the one that came before it. Now, here was a study that found that we would have to eat 8 oranges a day to get the same amount of vitamin A our grandparents would have gotten from just one orange. Our food is being stripped of the nutrients and genetically modified, changed for convenience. So apples don't turn brown when you cut them open. Or they grow bigger. They grow more juicy. They grow more tasty. They grow with more sugar in the fruit. The fruit today is nowhere near the fruit that our great-grandparents ate, even our grandparents ate several decades ago. Our food has changed. But don't stop eating good food. Even it still is better than what you could have eaten. Get rid of the sugar. Get rid of the carbohydrates. Reduce them drastically. Follow the ketogenic diet. Follow the paleo diet. And even people eating great diets may still experience low levels of key nutrients for the immune function. That's why we have people that are sick today. And that's why COVID-19 was so damaging. Almost 50% of the population of America is obese. How do you get obese? 50% of Americans. And up to 91% of Americans are overly fat. Not obese, but out of shape and way over fat. The pot belly, the beer belly, the bread belly, these big abdominal, they are loaded with fat. The liver becomes engorged with fat. We are significantly unhealthy. We're the unhealthiest country in the world based on World Health Organization's monitoring of 37 industrialized nations. We are 37th. So eat the best diet possible. Good quality proteins, animal proteins, seafood, olive oil, avocado oil, fruits, vegetables. Lower your carbohydrates from grains or don't eat grains at all. Grains are not healthy. And include more fruits and vegetables. There you'll get more fiber, you'll get more vitamins and minerals. Now it is not ideal compared to what we were eating 100 years ago. But what are you going to do? You still have to eat the best diet possible, and that is the best diet possible today. But then you may have to substitute, fill in the gap of the nutrients that are missing. So you might want to take some supplements. So the 4 key vitamins for the immune function, for the immune system: vitamin A. Vitamin A is antiviral and not beta-carotene. You need vitamin A, the pure, straight vitamin A, retinol acetate. Antiviral form of vitamin A. Beta-carotene does not stop infection, does not stop the virus. And vitamin A, shown in cell cultures, cell studies, it is shown to inactivate herpes simplex virus. Low vitamin A levels associated with increased risk of influenza and other viral infections. And then vitamin C, ascorbic acid, highly bioavailable, the best form of vitamin C. Alleviates or prevents bacterial, viral, and fungal infections. It shortens the duration and the severity of viral and bacterial infections. Vitamin D3. It's the best, most available form of vitamin D3, or D. Essential for the immune system function. People with the highest levels of vitamin D have shown to have the fewest complications associated with COVID-19. We need vitamins and minerals, folks. You can't live without them. You can't live on calories and empty food. Vitamin E, D-alpha, and all the other mixed tocopherols that make up vitamin E increases the immune response, the natural killer cell activity, improves resistance to bacterial and viral infections. And then zinc, and the best form of zinc is called bisglycinate chelate. It's the chelated form that increases absorption, direct activity against pathogens, shown to reduce symptoms and duration of illness associated with viral infections. These are viral fighters. This is the army your body requires to protect the environment of your body against bacterial, viral, and fungal infections. Selenium, especially from yeast, Y-E-A-S-T, yeast. It's a very special form of selenium. And this form of selenium is graded as a food form with increased bioavailability. Deficiency of selenium is associated with increased risk of bacterial and viral infection. Selenium supplementation increases the activity of the immune system cells, and studies included HIV, influenza, and other viral infections. In a study done with selenium, they took two groups of animals. One half of that group did not get selenium. They made sure their diet was depleted of selenium. The other group got plenty of selenium, not excessive because it's toxic at a higher level. I would never suggest going over 400 micrograms, which is plenty. So you had one group that did not have any selenium in their diet. The other half of the animals got plenty of selenium, but less than the toxic level. We have to have it. We can't live without selenium. And then they injected both groups of animals with a viral infection. The animals that did not have selenium, most of them died from the infection. The group that got selenium and the viral injection, some got mildly sick, but none of them died. These are nutrients that protect our bodies through the function of the immune system. Now they're doing all kinds of cancer research using the immune system. Your immune system will defend you against disease. So, fortify your body, arm your body with these 6 nutrients, 4 vitamins and 2 minerals. And sometimes the combination is also combined with elderberry, which also has been shown to block viral uptake and prevent it from entering the host so that there would be no infection. Now, we talked about the ketogenic diet. It's a diet that restricts severely carbohydrates, maybe down to 20 grams, depending on the individual, when most Americans are consuming 300 to 500 milligrams of carbohydrates per day, and most of them coming from grains like bread, crackers, desserts, pasta, all these grain-based, flour-based carbohydrates, where you can substitute the carbohydrates with fruits and vegetables, and plenty of protein, good quality of fats, and your health will be significantly improved. But ketogenic diet also can cause constipation. It's a drastic change. It's called the keto constipation, and it's the real thing. So you want to make some changes that this does not happen on a regular basis. And talking about regular, well, that's how you get regular on the ketogenic diet. A common experience when switching any kind of food or switching routines. People that have a normal bowel movement every day, they go on vacation and they are constipated. They travel, they're constipated. So a common experience when switching to a ketogenic diet is constipation, any kind of change, and especially if previously eating a high-carb diet. Researchers have shown that the microflora, the probiotics in the gut, are different when eating a high-carb diet versus a keto diet. They change. The probiotics in the gut change. The type of food influences the type of probiotics in the gut. So when we are on a keto diet, we have more anti-inflammatory microflora, which is great, which is good, because carbohydrates and sugar and vegetable oils, those three are most influential in creating inflammation. And oxidative stress and inflammation is the basic foundation of 98% of all diseases, including cancer. Our diet can drastically lower our risk of disease and reverse disease. But when making a sudden change in foods, the microflora need time to catch up. And in the meantime, constipation and digestive issues possibly can occur. So here's my solution. Find a good, beneficial probiotic, and the probiotic that I use contains 20 billion bacteria per capsule. Now you can find a 50 billion, 100 billion. I've seen them up to 500 billion. Folks, you don't need that count. But people think, hey, I'm getting more, it's better. No, more is not better. Healthier bacteria, stronger bacteria, and of the correct strain of bacteria are what makes it work. Some strains of bacteria, probiotics that are being sold today, are not even human strains. They've never been tested. But there's a huge count, like 500 billion. People are going to think, well, I want the best, so I want the most. We are all accustomed to thinking more is better. More food, more money, more sex, more love. And that's not necessarily true. The quality is what's true. So I chose for myself the Lactobacillus plantarum and the Lactobacillus rhamnosus and the Bifidobacterium bifidum, 20 billion per capsule. That has a tremendous effect on increasing the natural flora in the gut. And that's where the immune system is. So that also, in turn, makes us have a healthier immune system. And then if you want a really good digestive system, from all the way from the stomach all the way down to the exit, they have developed in India an Ayurvedic herbal formulation that has been available for thousands of years, containing turmeric, antigrathis, cortisol, licorice, sarsaparilla, long pepper, ginger, curry tree, and many more. I think there's 14 herbs in that formulation, and it has remarkable benefits for all kinds of digestive disorders: Crohn's disease, colitis, IBS, pain in the intestinal tract, pain in the stomach, feel bloated, feel like you're so, you've just eaten, you feel so heavy. You feel like you can't digest the food. And this is a formulation that they recommend to be taken at bedtime. It balances the entire intestinal tract and colon for a healthier regulation. It's not a laxative, but it will regulate in a few days to give you a normal bowel movement and digestive tract and improve any kind of intestinal disorder. It's about 800 milligrams, be taken at bedtime. So we're almost out of time this morning, but I'll give you one little tip before I leave on how to include nuts in your diet so you lose weight a little easier. In fact, it was recently reported that people staying at home during the pandemic were gaining about 1.5 pounds per month. It should be called a pandemic. Damn the pandemic. In a separate survey, 60% of Americans said that losing weight has been harder over the last 6 months. What might make it easier is mixed nuts. Researchers monitored overweight or obese men and women on the same low-calorie diet except for a daily snack. Half the participants received mixed nuts and half received pretzels. Each snack had the same amount of total calories. And the results? Both groups lost weight, but the participants with the mixed nut snack had a much bigger increase in satisfying their appetite. That is, eating less was easier because they felt less hungry. And when the study shifted into a weight maintenance phase, the mixed nut group maintained their weight loss for a longer period of time, while the group eating pretzels began to gain weight right after they stopped the study. And that, my friends, I'm all out of time, as this time goes by so fast. But tomorrow I'll be here with another hour of Terry Talks Nutrition. I'm Terry Naturally. So start eating a better, healthier diet. And if you have to take supplements to mix for that, to fill in the gaps for those foods that we're eating today, do so. And with that, my friends, say a prayer for this crazy, crazy world. God bless you and God bless America.